So, how did it go for you today? You feeling okay? Well, you're looking good. Hi, I'm Bill Pearce, and this is Nightsounds. Speaking of looking good, I can recall way back. I must have been 5 or 6 years of age when my mother decided to take me on a shopping trip over to Philadelphia. We lived in the area of Camden, New Jersey, in the south part of the state, and going to Philadelphia to shop was a big deal. She dressed me up in this, as she said, cute little navy coat with a funny hat, and en route to the train, I saw this mud puddle, and I thought to myself, I can jump across that. So off I went, breaking free of her grasp at the moment. I took a flying leap and sort of slipped on the takeoff and fell flat into that puddle. As she distressingly got me up out of that thing, sort of brushed off, she said, "Just look at you." Tonight's program will be given a title, and that's it. Look at you. We're taking a look at us for a few moments and just taking a brief cursory glance at the surface maybe, and later on in the program, underneath the surface. That can get distressing, but it can be very informative. And if we tend to matters, can make us better persons to live with. Speaking of imaging, our first music tonight, Fred Frank, baritone, to sing for us, as he takes a brief look into the mirror. Mirror of the soul, perhaps going deeper than the surface. Let's take a listen to his thoughts.
Where have you been? Where are you going? What is your life coming to? Where is the meaning? And where is the purpose? What's left when we are all through? You're searching for Jesus, looking to find hope for tomorrow and some peace of mind. Well, you can find him in the Bible and many churches that I know, but till you find him in the mirror, you got a long way to go. So mirror, mirror on the wall, I know who is Lord of all. Just let me see him every day. For me, that is the only way. You've heard of the truth, and you've heard of his message. Shouldn't that turn you around? Could you have missed it? Or not understood it? Do you know what you have found? You're searching for Jesus, looking to find hope for tomorrow and some peace of mind. Well, you can find him in the Bible and many churches that I know, but till you find him in the mirror, you got a long way to go.
Soloist Fred Frank in our opening music, Looking in the Mirror. finding there, as he looks a little closer, that he might need some outside help today. And as the lyrics close there, they were, "You've got a long way to go." Most of us know that, though, don't we? As we take a look into ourselves and are at all honest, we recognize that there's something that may be missing. We're not quite sure how to put our finger on it, but we could take some refining and some sandpapering, taking care of the rough edges. Tonight's program, Look at You. It doesn't have to be derogatory or in derision or critical. It's good to take a reading on where we are. Businesses take inventory. And self-inspection really never hurt anybody, but to stop there would be problematic. I was looking in an article in the National Religious Broadcasters Journal, which most of us in the broadcast industry look at closely. A broadcaster by the name of Will Basinger wrote in Exposed Images, this was the title of his piece, citing one of Jim Henson's popular Muppet offerings, showed a female Muppet gliding into a dressing room and transforming herself from a golden-curled beauty into a gnarled crone, while trilling the strains of Bernstein's I Feel Pretty from West Side Story. The point was that beauty is subjective, and image can often be misleading. And although Mr. Basinger was speaking to Christian communicators, he said for Christians, that takes in all of us. This is a familiar lesson. Jesus always looked beyond the exterior and into the heart and into the substance of a person. So, the question would be, how, then, as Christians, and especially Christian broadcasters and anyone in leadership, pastors, to enter, compete, and claim victory in an arena where image is reality? Fortunately, I've often said Nightsounds, the program you're hearing right now, is not on television. It's often been suggested through the years that we do go on TV somehow. But I'm sort of glad we're not. We don't have to be concerned with image at this moment, especially now when the day is over and most of you are in various stages of undress and disconcertion, to say the least. And in the media, in TV, magazines, where imaging is very prominent, the eyes of media buyers, largely jaundiced by preconceptions, see two major problems with religious broadcasting: the image of the audience and the image of religious broadcasting in general. As you hear Nightsounds, probably some kind of an image comes to your mind. What is the stereotype of a religious broadcaster? It could be an illusion. And we're dealing in the territory of the prince of the power of the air, whose domain is the airwaves. And he's done a remarkable job of shaping the stereotype illusion of Christian broadcasters and telecasters. Not only shaping it, but pounding it home. According to the Simmons market research of Soma Research, 67.8% of the Christian market audience is between the ages of 25 and 54. In fact, by appealing to the Christian market, advertisers are 14.3% more likely to reach viewers within that range than in the general American public. Another statistic gathered by the recent Gallup poll showed 75% of new church members between the ages of 18 and 35. Hardly elderly. Not only is the Christian market comprised of the age groups normally targeted by advertisers, but the researchers reveal they are significantly more likely to be professionals, to have a checking account, a savings account, and a credit card, and to be civic-minded and active. Religious broadcasters can hold no illusions that we have not helped the situation by providing sacrificial lambs from our own ranks. As we look back in the recent history, we can come up with names, but we're not interested in names and identities at this point, because we are all liable to hitting the sinkholes and falling in. Modern literature and the secular media have done wonders to reinforce the image, but certainly we can hold no illusions that we've not helped the situation by providing sacrificial lambs. Tonight's program, Look at You, has us just sort of taking a brief excursion into our souls in honesty to see who we are really, what our motives are, and whose picture, whose image, whose pattern are we following. Some years ago, Eddie Carlson recorded a song with the title, A Picture of You. Sort of centers in on our pattern and who we see and whose picture we are following.
Lord of light, create in me a reflection of yourself, so that you can freely work and truly shine through me, shine through me. Let my life be a picture of you. Let my life be a picture of you. Let me be a letter written by your hand for the world to read and to see and to feel and to know you live in me. Holy Spirit, grant in me the fruit of love, joy, patience, self-control, the life of Christ in me, Christ in me. So let my life be a picture of you, dear Lord. Let my life be a picture
pretty important lyrics in that song by Ebbe Carlson. Let my life be a picture of you, a letter written by your hand. Very important words of prayer. As we're into our program tonight entitled Look at You, and what do you see? Sometimes I'm afraid to look at me, because I know it's there. Without looking, I can sense it. But the idea tonight is to have a general awareness of our trends, of our liabilities, also our assets. Present them to God and ask with the psalmist, create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. So it's possible tonight to be changed, to get cleaned up. Nightsounds on the air. Welcome. Many of you have just joined us, tooling down the highway in your car, or truckers going from one state to another along the country's interstates. Inmates in prison, business people ready to retire, the late shifters going to responsibilities, students up late studying, those who can't sleep for whatever reason, maybe in hospitals. Thank you for tuning us in. Nightsounds is more than a radio program. It has turned for many into a relationship. We're grateful to God for this. And as we go off the air, we've often said, the ministries do continue through the compact discs, the printed material, not the least of which would be the series of 6 to 8 previously recorded programs on different subject matter, concentrating on stress areas such as loneliness, depression, the grief process, areas of living, singleness, dealing with our emotions. We invite you to write to us. Or if you'd like a catalog giving an overview of all of our items of outreach and ministry, our mailing address is Nightsounds, Wheaton, Illinois, 60189. For the past quarter century almost, about once or maybe twice a year, the Nightsounds Board of Directors meets to consider the ministry and take an overview of it all, suggest various directions, take care of any problems, peruse the whole situation. The Board of Directors basically comes from areas in the United States, some locally. One of our members from the East Coast sent in an item that he saw, and I believe it was Chuck Swindoll's writing. And he said, this is good. Maybe you'd like to share it with your audience some night. The scenario is a pastor was taking a trip. And on the way back from this trip, he decided to dress in some ratty old jeans and just relax on the way home. Maybe even pick up a magazine and read Sports Illustrated. So he chooses the magazine, sits down on the plane, relaxing for the trip home. And then comes this very astute businessman, dressed up in a nice suit, has a Wall Street Journal tucked under his arm, and he sits down right next to him. All of a sudden, the pastor feels dwarfed by this guy because he's kind of out of uniform, and the other guy's all dressed up and looks pretty impressive and successful. So this guy sits down and starts to strike up a conversation, which goes something like this. I'm in the figure salon business. We change women's self-concept by changing her body. It's really a very powerful thing. I said to this successful businessman, well, you look sort of my age. Have you been at this very long? Well, I just graduated from the University of Michigan, he said, School of Business Administration. They've given so much responsibility already. I feel honored, in fact. I hope eventually to manage the western part of the operation. So you're a national organization, I asked, becoming impressed, despite myself. "Oh, yes," he said. "We're the fastest growing company of our kind in the nation. It's really good to be part of an organization like that, don't you think?" The pastor said, "Well," I nodded approvingly and thought, impressive. He's proud of his work and his accomplishments. Why could not Christians be proud like that? Why are we so often apologetic about our faith in our church? The businessman sort of sideway took a look at my clothing and asked, "And what do you do?" I replied, "Well, it's interesting that we have similar business interests. You're in the body-changing business. I'm in the personality-changing business. We apply basic theocratic principles to accomplish the indigenous personality modifications." He was hooked, and I knew it. But I knew he'd never admit it, because pride is powerful. "You know, I've heard about that," he replied hesitantly. "Do you have an office here in the city?" "Oh, we have many offices. We have offices up and down every state. In fact, we're national. At least one office in every state of the Union, including Alaska and Hawaii." Impressive. But puzzled he looked, searching his mind to identify this huge company, which he must have heard of or read about in the Wall Street Journal. The pastor went on, "As a matter of fact, we've gone international. Management has a plan that will put at least one office in every country in the world by the end of this business era." "Do you have that in your business?" "Well, no, not yet, but you mentioned management. How do they make it work?" "Oh," the pastor said, "it's a family concern. There's a father and a son. They run everything." "Well, it must take a lot of capital, right?" "Oh, you mean money?" Yes, I suppose so." As the conversation went on, they talked about the employees, the procedures, the qualities, the product. And as they went on, the rich businessman said, "What about good benefits? What about fringes?" I said, "Well, I have complete life insurance, fire insurance, all the basics." You might not believe this, but it's true. I have holdings in a mansion that's being built for me right now for my retirement. Do you have that in your business? "Not yet," he answered wistfully. The light was beginning to dawn. "You know, one thing that bothers me about all you're saying, I've read the journals, and if your business is all that you say it is, why haven't I read about it before now?" "Good question," I asked. "After all, we have a 2,000-year-old tradition." "Wait a minute," he said. And he began to understand. "You're right," I interrupted. "I'm talking about the church of Jesus Christ." I knew it. "You know, I'm Jewish." I said, "That's okay. Like to sign up?" The bottom line is that man was internally motivated to share Christ, not as a business, but as a person. But a very interesting way to participate in a conversation, wouldn't you say? Tonight, if you're looking to success, if you're looking to impress, to motivate, to have an image that is more than you can see in a mirror, I would advise that which the choir sings about right now. Look to Jesus. He cares for you more than any other ever could or would. If we as Christians, as media professionals, or in any other work, are to reconcile our image problems, we need to go beyond the surface perceptions and ask what we are. We are people called by God to live a Christian life, to spread the gospel through the miracle of modern technology, in whatever business or outreach. So be it. Let's make that an aim tomorrow, okay? With God's help. Love to hear from you if we can interest you in the Love series, the album, the programs called Love Is. Write us. Our mailing address, Nightsounds, Wheaton, Illinois, 60189. May God direct us toward His way of living and life and eternity. Till we meet again, God bless you, and a peaceful good night to all of you.